Hey, I'm Angie Rose with Angie Rose Health Coaching, and I'm here today with your Monday Mojo motivational video, talking with you today about, do you waste food? Food waste. Do you waste food? So, most of us are like, no, Angie, I don't have a problem eating food. I make sure I eat enough of it and I get enough of it. And, I know when my kids were little, I was probably the human garbage disposal because they always had extras on their plate and I didn't want to waste it. But really, that's not what we're going to talk about today. What I want to talk about is something that a lot of my clients struggle with when we start eating healthier. And it is ending up throwing away fruits and vegetables and things that we don't get ate there, and we had good intentions to actually eat it, right? Like that's what usually happens. So that, for us as someone who really thinks about, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I think about where I'm spending my money and not wanting to throw away whole big things of lettuce and cucumbers or fruit and those kinds of things that are so expensive. And they are now. They're just much more expensive than they have been in a really long time. But sometimes we have great intentions and we don't follow through. So maybe this is you, maybe this isn't you, but hopefully I'll have some tips for you today that will actually help you quite a bit with getting that on track, helping with your budget, but also making sure that you get stuff ate that you've purchased, right? All right. So, the last few weeks for April here, we've been talking about grocery shopping hacks. My playbook or my ebook that I'm giving away this month is 10-minute grocery sprint. I had to look at the name of it just to make sure I didn't mess it up. And this is probably the one that has been downloaded the most over the last year, is this one right here. How to get to the grocery store, how to plan for a grocery trip, how to make sure that I'm getting the best bang for my buck, and to make sure that I am not getting all the junk, because ending up in the grocery store, there are a lot of things that catch our attention, and it isn't always the fruits and vegetables, right? So I hope you think about that. But what I want to start with today is just talk with you a little bit about some statistics about how much food actually goes to waste because we don't plan properly, or we buy too much, or we don't actually eat what we plan that we're going to eat, and we end up throwing it in the trash can. So here's just a few statistics I want to share with you. The truth of the matter is that 1/3 of all food actually goes uneaten. 96% of that uneaten food ends up in the landfill, and the average family spends at least $1,500 a year on food that goes uneaten. $1,500 a year. Now, it may not seem like that because it's happening in little increments throughout the week, but when you tally that up for the whole year, that is $1,500. You could go on vacation, a small mini family vacation for $1,500, depending upon where you're going, right? So this is the thing I want to point out too, though. The waste doesn't stop just because we're throwing the food in the trash can. There is a bigger ripple effect that does begin to happen down the road. So there is a spillover effect in these things. Think about all the resources that went into getting that produce to the grocery store, transporting it, storing it, getting it ready for you to purchase. That affects all of our land resources like water, land, and energy. So there's a loss there. Then on top of that, in a year, this amounts to enough water and energy to supply more than 50 million homes thrown away. Just food thrown away. When we think about all the pieces of the puzzle of getting that to your house, to your refrigerator, and onto your table, well, actually into your trash can, more than 50 million homes could have had water and energy. Greenhouse gas emissions of more than 42 coal-fired power plants could have went on. And thirdly, agricultural land equal to the size of California and the state of New York. So that is a lot of food going in the trash can and going in the bins, down the garbage disposal, or whatever you do with that. But it all adds up. And as a health coach, one of my biggest goals for my clients is to make sure that, one, we make it as affordable as possible, because food is expensive. And this is a thing, and I know this is a truth, that healthy food is way more expensive than crap food. And we can get away with buying a lot of junk food and eating out at a much cheaper cost than a lot of times making the healthier choices. And I know that's very, very frustrating. It's frustrating for me as a coach, when I look at what I'm purchasing, and when there's only two of us between my husband and I, and we do stock up on stuff, but we spent almost $200 in groceries this week. And which, I will say our fridge and stuff was pretty empty, because I'm pretty good at using up what I purchase. But realistically, that was a big ouch. And most of that was on fruits and vegetables and meat. Okay, so I know that it gets pretty expensive. So beyond our health and fitness, these are really big reasons to have those ninja level grocery shopping habits, right? Is to make sure we're not affecting the rest of the planet. Because when you do those little things and you actually eat what you purchase, then what ends up happening is we're actually helping the planet in the long run, and we're helping our bodies. So let me give you some quick food saving tips today that are going to help you out with this, so that we're not throwing stuff in the trash, okay? So the first tip is, when you build your weekly meal plan, well, let me just say your first tip, build a weekly meal plan. Build a weekly meal plan. Don't just guess. But when you build that plan, I want you to start with the foods that you already have in your freezer, your fridge, and your pantry. Excuse me. So what I do is I open up the freezer, I go through the fridge, I throw away some of the things that I didn't get done. My one thing I probably throw away the most is lettuce. Because in my head, my plan is always to get that big box of spring mix from Sam's Club or Walmart or Hy-Vee. And when I do, my intention is to have a lot of salads and have those greens. And somehow I end up not ever getting through it and end up throwing some away. But then when I buy the smaller one, we run out. So I'm kind of screwed. I don't know what to do with that. But that's probably the one thing. Otherwise, the rest of the stuff I really am pretty good at overall. But when I go through the fridge and I go through the freezer and I go through the pantry and I look at what I've got, I look for the things that are going to spoil the quickest, that are going to, I don't want to throw away. So for example, we had coleslaw last week that I purchased. I purchased the actual coleslaw, and then I get some little sauce to go with it, so I can make it how much I want. But we almost always end up throwing a half a bag of coleslaw away. So yesterday I was like, as we were getting our grocery list done, I'm like, we're having the rest of that coleslaw today. I'm going to figure out how to build around that so I didn't have to throw it away, and we ate it. So I was happy about that. Hence, I'm teaching on it. I got to do what I'm teaching you guys, right? But I do really focus on what needs to be ate up, what can wait, and I build my meal plan around that so that I'm not throwing a bunch of stuff away. What I will say with this too, I know there's a lot of times, you guys, you don't feel like eating what you plan. And you know what I tell my clients? I tell them, too bad. Eat it anyway, so you're not wasting it, and so that you're actually able to do what you planned, okay? Because a lot of times once you eat it, it's totally fine. You're just not feeling it in the moment, okay? So look there first. Secondly, what you can do is make a list of items you need and stick to the list at the store. This is probably one of the hardest things for people who go in the grocery store. I do most of my grocery shopping online for this purpose specifically, so I'm not buying extra crap that I don't need, and it keeps my husband out of the grocery store. who likes to throw lots of extra junk in the cart that usually I have to be mommy and say, no, we're not. Not that I won't let him get it. If he kind of throws a little fit, he gets it because he's a grown man. But most of the time, he's waiting to see if I'm going to tell him no or not. And if I do, he'll put it back, right? Excuse me again. So make a list of what you need. Stick to the list because that's going to help you tremendously. So the third thing is to include quantities on your shopping list so you don't buy too much. Okay. Now, when this says, for example, I wrote down example chicken breast. If you need 8 servings, then get 8 servings. But I am the type that I buy the big bulk packs. I take out what I need that I'm going to cook, and then I freeze up. Hence why I'm going back and looking in the freezer and the fridge and seeing what I've already got. So I'm not spending extra money and having 15 things of chicken breast in my freezer. Okay. Also, don't buy large quantities unless you know you're going to use it all before it spoils. So the one thing, like I said, with spring mix, you can't really freeze that. So that's probably the reason why most of the time that one will go in the trash for me. But like spinach or fruit or any of certain vegetables that are fresh, I will usually, if I know I'm not going to get to them, I'm going to throw them in the freezer. So especially spinach, it works really, really well to throw them in your smoothies, your protein shakes. I like cooked spinach, so I don't mind it at all. So things like that, or your fruits that, like, let's say bananas. I only honestly buy 4 bananas at a time. My husband always makes fun of me, but I don't want to waste it and throw it in the trash. So I'll buy 4 bananas. But if I'm not going to get through them that week, I will peel them, throw them in a freezer bag, put them in the freezer, and those are the things that are going to go into my protein shakes in the morning. And so whether it's strawberries or blueberries or raspberries or blackberries, peaches, any of those kinds of things, because we're coming into fruit and vegetable season and everything's going to look good and you're all going to buy too much. This is really where it's going to come in handy for you to get used to freezing and storing those things properly, okay? So if you do end up buying more than what you think you need, then freeze it if possible. And then lastly, make sure you're storing your food properly, like fruits and vegetables. Google it. It's so easy, like just what are the best ways to store fruits and vegetables? You're going to see, go to TikTok. I don't watch TikTok, but all my clients are like, I saw this on TikTok. Do you think it works? I don't know because I don't do TikTok. But there are some things that you learn that I'm really willing to try, so I'm not throwing stuff in the trash can, okay? Now, I will throw the link as well to my 10-minute grocery sprint right here above the video for my Facebook group. For those of you on Instagram that are seeing this, I know that a lot of times they won't let us put a link in there. So find me on Facebook and follow me there. Find this video and you'll see the link as well. But download that playbook. And, you know, what it will do is it'll send you through like a little cart that costs you $0. It's not going to charge you. Then we'll send you an email with a link to be able to log into the portal and get that playbook to save you money, to help you shop better, and to help you plan better, okay? So I want you guys thinking about that. I know that sometimes we don't even think twice about how much stuff we throw away because we're pretty spoiled here in the U.S. We really, truly are. If it doesn't sound good or it just gets a little bit of something, my husband is like that. If his grapes get a little too mushy, he won't eat them. So Angie eats them because I ain't going to waste them. I don't mind a little mushy grapes. Kind of weird about apples, but he'll eat apples that are a little softer. So we kind of help each other out on that. But realistically, you guys, we don't think enough about what we're doing and how much money we waste and how much it affects the world. So if you can do something for the bigger picture besides ourselves, why not? But also, I want you guys to eat what you're purchasing because this is a lot of times why people end up quitting a diet program is they end up throwing more stuff away than what they eat because they ain't feeling it. Well, get over feelings. They're fickle. They come and go. And usually if you're hungry, you will eat what is sat in front of you. So just take the time to wash the apple. Take the time to pick the grapes. Take the time to slice the cucumber, add those things in. They're so good for you and so beneficial. Okay. All right. Well, that's what I've got for you today. And just remember today, one little act that a lot of people do really creates a huge ripple effect. So store your fruits and vegetables well, try to eat them before they're wasted, and save the world, right? All right. Well, that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope you have an amazing week. Enjoy. If you're in my area, it's going to be in the 70s and windy, which that's Nebraska, but 70s I will take. So have a great rest of your day, and that's what I got. We'll see you later. Bye.